Hola, and welcome back to my channel, where budgeting is part of my journey to achieving the life I dream of. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Chris, and I'm an active duty member in the U.S. Navy and mother of 2 wonderful kids and 2 fur babies. Now, on today's video, we are going to go ahead and stuff my cashless sinking funds. Yes, it's not as exciting as stuffing actual cash, but this is the way that I go ahead and stuff my sinking funds at the last paycheck of the month. All right, let's get to it. So the first thing I'm gonna need is my sinking fund tracker. Now, I don't write them down in my workbook, but I made a tracker, the who's who in my account zoo, and I print one off every month so that way I know what stays in the main account, what goes into sinking, and what goes into my make a home savings account. I do flip over to February 15th's page because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff my sinking funds. So that's $313. Now that goes in a lump sum to my sinking funds account, but I use my trackers to make sure that I know how much of that sinking account goes into what actual sinking fund, if that makes any sense. So I use that, and I'm also going to go ahead and send this snowball off because I know it fits into my budget, and I'm gonna go ahead and send the make a home amount. The reason I go ahead and send that over instead of waiting until the very end of the month is because I want to pay myself first before I allow myself to accidentally spend any of that money. So pay myself first. I go ahead and transfer those budgeted amounts. If at the end of the month I have more than I had budgeted for, then I just go ahead and transfer the difference over to either a particular sinking fund, or I send it to my make a home, or I will send it over to another savings account for, let's say, vacations or anything fun that I want to do with the family. So I decide what to do with that difference at the very end of the month. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and send over the budgeted amounts because they actually fit into my budget right now. So let's start with the sinking funds. So I'm going to go ahead and send over the 313, and we're going to go ahead and fill out the trackers for these sinking funds. So in my wallet, I keep my sinking funds. The reason I do this is because, let's say, is the birthday month for one of my kids. I want to make sure that I'm only spending what's inside of that sinking fund. And since it's all inside of one account, I just go ahead, if I have to buy a present or a decoration for her birthday or his birthday, I go ahead and use the sinking fund card and subtract it or add it to my tracker. So we are going to go ahead and start with the checking account cushion. We are adding $100. So to 15, we are going to add plus 100, and now I have 1,200 in my account cushion. We added 100, we ended with 1,200. At the end of the month, I do reprint this so that way I have a hard copy for each month, so that way I can compare notes if something looks off or something is not looking right. Now this one is a little different. I write plus and minus on here, but ultimately I'm gonna end up with 434.19 because I used it on the first, what I rolled over, but then on the 15th I went ahead and added 434.19, and that is what's gonna roll over to the next month to pay the mortgage on the first. That one does not have a card. Okay, then we're gonna go in with my maintenance that I have to save up and pay every month, or sorry, yearly. I save $10 each month just to make sure that I can cover the maintenance fees. So we're gonna add $10 and 10, that's $20. So let's make that change here. That gives us 20. All right. This one. So this is the tax payback that was in my February 15th budget. I go ahead and I subtract $82.56 because that's what I put back into my account because it's coming out of my paycheck. So on 2/15, I'll pay back to myself $82.56. There we go. Let's correct that. So using the calculator, and that gives us a balance of $660.48. And then I add all these up, and whatever is left at the end of the month, this is the minimum that has to stay in my account, which this will be my starting balance for next month. So that plus $20 plus $434.19 plus 1,200. At the end of the month, my main account is going to be left with $2,314.67. And whatever the difference between that and what's actually in the account, that's what I move over to either my make a home, or I just put in a sinking fund. I usually pick by random whatever I feel is more important at that moment, and so that's what's reflected on the transactions column here. All right, let's continue. Now these are actual sinking funds that I'm saving up for. So with the $313 that goes into my savings account for this particular sinkings, I go ahead and just put the transactions. So from the $313, we're adding $10 for Mother's Day. That's going to be 90. It's our ending balance. For Father's Day, we're going to be adding 15. So we're going to have 120. Now the reason I write these twice, that I have an actual spreadsheet and then I have these, it's just in case. This is only really marking the transactions as a total or as a whole, and this right here is just to make sure that I actually went and wrote these in. If I ever have any doubts of how much I should have, I always go back to this, because this actually, I have a formula that calculates how much this is supposed to have. So if it doesn't have that, or if I did the math wrong, it will be reflected on here, and then I'll just compare these two at the end of the month. All right, so let's continue with back to school. I know back to school looks a little different last year, and it's going to look a little different this year, but I just go ahead and prepare for it. All right, let's continue. My daughter's birthday. And we are adding $20. Halloween, again, it's probably gonna look a little different this year, but I just go ahead and save for it anyways. Then my son's birthday. So for my kids' birthdays, there is a cap. I don't want to go past $200. So once I get to 200, then I'll stop, and then I will either decide to start saving for their next year's birthday or concentrate more into another sinking fund, which I might just put into Christmas. So I'm between starting next year's or, you know, more presents for Christmas, but we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. All right, I was at 140, 160. There we go. All right. Saving up for Thanksgiving. Previous to this year or last year, I never really saved for Thanksgiving, but here recently I ended up spending more than I feel like I should have on Thanksgiving. You know, the dinner, the food, the decorations, just some random things I got for Thanksgiving last year, and it really added up. So I took some of my grocery money for the month and I thought, not this year. Just gonna go ahead and save for it. So, oh shoot, okay, I was at 40 plus 15. For some reason I always like to double check myself just to make sure. Okay, Christmas, this is my favorite one, so I'm pretty sure that's how much it is, but I want to make sure. Yay! Now this is property tax. I gotta pay that, and so plus 14. Some more maintenance fees. 44. Cart maintenance. This is one that I'm actually pretty proud that I started. I used to just put all car repairs or any maintenance the car needed on a card, and so I got tired of paying all that interest on the repair, and so now I just started the car fund, or the car maintenance sinking fund, and I'm actually excited about it because now I actually have some money for car maintenance. So car maintenance, I'm budgeting at $60. And this will cover registration fees and all changes, safety inspections, tires, anything that has to do with the car is going to come out of this car maintenance. So that's why I like to put 60. There's no cap on it for right now. Maybe I'll stop it at $600. We'll see. All right. Oops, forgot to write that. Okay. Pets. All right, so for this one, if there is a month that I don't use up all of the pets allotted amount that I have in my daily spending, I put the money in the sinking fund and then I add on here how much I have left over. So instead of rolling over, I just go ahead and put it in the pets fund. I am kind of contemplating just making it all just one continuous sinking fund with no actual goal in mind. Just instead of having it in my daily spending, just keep it in my sinking funds account. So that way, if I do need something for the pets, I just swipe this card. Vice, let's say I have 60 in my daily spending, but I need $10 more. Instead of swiping 2 cards twice, I just swipe the one. So I might end up doing that and then just changing up this or my paycheck bill tracker, and instead of having pets here, it's just one sinking fund that I put at the end of the month. Let me know in the comments below what you think I should do. I'd love to hear from you. All right, so I have nothing yet. At the end of the month is when I fill that particular card out. And then here I have some transactions that I have to put on here, which I will do at the end of the month. But I'm gonna go ahead and mark them now, actually, because I want to make sure this is as accurate as possible. So I had to $67.79, and then let's do this. Let's go ahead and add up all the charges that I've made. So far I've made $143.21 in charges to that particular sinking fund. So what I'm gonna do is, for transactions over here, I'm just gonna do minus 143.21, but I'm also gonna go ahead and add that 331.52. And so these charges right here are already on here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add the 331.52 so now in make a home account I have $456.10. So that $456.10 is going to go towards whatever upgrades I'm going to do to the house. All right, all of that is done. Right here, my end balance for, I'm not going to write it in yet, because if I make the transactions, then I'll write what I have at the end of the month. All right, but I am going to do these numbers over here. So I was realistically able to send over the whole 313. And so my new balances added up together is how much that account should have. So 90 plus 120 plus 120 plus 160 plus 80 plus 160 plus 55 plus 2 plus 352 plus 175.31. So my sinking funds in total have $1,604.31. All right, and that's how much I should have for these accounts, and that's what I check every end of the month, just to make sure all the transactions went through, I don't owe anything to anybody, and that's how much I actually have for sinking funds. All right, thank you for joining me. That is it for tonight. It's the 15th, payday. I've already stuffed my cashless envelopes. If you didn't see my video on my Instagram account, all I really did, very similar to how I did the sinking funds, I just took my spending trackers, and for the 15th, I added how much I allotted for each category. And that way, I now have an updated count on how much of my account for my daily spending belongs to what category. All right, thank you for joining me on my journey. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you know when I upload new videos. Hope you can join me next time. Hasta luego. Bye.